It's an honor for me to be today here in Bucharest, in a country which is a very big friend of Georgia. And during my visit today and during my meetings with my colleague, with the presidents of the both chambers of the parliament, with the vice prime minister, and finally with this meeting here, Bucharest really showed how big friend of Georgia this country is, and I'm really very happy to be here in this foundation which bears the name of an outstanding Romanian diplomat and statesman, Nicolae Titulescu. I'm happy to have books about him and something to read in the plane. Thank you very much for that. As I said, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, we have one meeting after this lecture, and the ambassador will give me a sign where we have to stop and to go to the next meeting. Unfortunately, my visit is very short. It's, by the way, my first visit after Vilnius in a EU country and NATO country. And it shows also how close the ties between Georgia and Romania are. And because of the very, very busy schedule, I'm not able to stay longer in Romania. And that's very sad indeed. So thank you very much for this opportunity. The end of the year is always a period when we take stock of the parting year. The 2013 has been marked by an event which will have historical ramifications for Georgia. As you might guess, I'm speaking about the Vilnius summit, a summit that heralded a momentous change in the way of the post-Soviet nations, like Georgia and Moldova, have been regarded during the last 20 years. The Vilnius summit has opened up a sea of new opportunities, but also has raised a number of important challenges for my country. It is to these opportunities and challenges I want to draw your attention during the next few minutes. In Vilnius, Georgia and Moldova initialed association agreement with the European Union. This is a qualitatively new generation of international instruments that lends an opportunity of an unprecedented level of economic integration with the European Union. The agreement reflects a fundamental shift in the political association of the partner countries with the Union. Consequently, the association agreements render our cooperation with the European Union more efficient, more result-oriented, and more ambitious. In more concrete terms, the association agreement is an outline of far-reaching reforms, which shall allow the signatory Eastern European partners to gradually integrate into the European economy and bring more prosperity and stability to their people. This is also a plan that enables us to consolidate the achievements we have already made and to further advance along the path to democracy, political pluralism, and protection of fundamental freedoms of our citizens. The association agreement includes the deep and comprehensive free trade area, which opens up tremendous opportunities for business and investments in Georgia. Namely, it provides Georgian goods and services with a unique chance to reach one of the largest markets of the world. It obviously increases our attractiveness as a viable investment destination. Georgia already has created a most favorable climate for businessmen, for businesses to operate freely in a competitive environment. We expect that this favorable business environment, coupled with the new opportunities offered by the association agreement, will be a good motivation for the international business community, including the Romanian businesses, to consider investing in the Georgian economy, production, and infrastructure. The Eastern Partnership opened up another major opportunity for the Eastern European partners of the Union. Namely, the program sets out specific requirements for the introduction of visa-free regime with the partners that successfully create a secure and well-managed environment. Enhanced mobility is the key for strengthening ties between the societies and for fighting estrangements among nations, so that our new generations know each other better and develop more common values than the generations divided by the walls of ideology and rivalry. The fast-track arrangement for visa-free regime based on proper implementation of the Visa Liberalization Action Plan should be one of the highlights of the coming years. In Vilnius, we signed the framework agreement on participation of Georgia in the EU-led crisis management operations. The agreement will enable us to contribute to the EU-led conflict prevention and crisis management missions worldwide. Our efforts to have this agreement signed with the European Union carry a strong message. Our enthusiasm for joining the EU partners in their crisis management operations reflects our commitment to be not only the beneficiaries of the EU crisis management arrangements, but also to contribute to the Union's mission as reliable and solid partners. The same logic has been driving our active participation in the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force in Afghanistan since 2004. Today, we have 1,600 troops deployed on the ground, which makes us the largest non-NATO contributor to ISAF and the fifth largest contributor overall. This is what my country is aspiring to achieve: to be allowed to take its share and responsibility in the peaceful, stable, and prosperous world. We are firmly pursuing our consistent policy in order to further advance towards the fulfillment of the NATO Bucharest Summit conclusions. As a consequence of our commitment to Euro-Atlantic security and to our democratic credentials, we expect that the alliance will take a due note of the progress achieved, and we will soon be able to make a further step in terms of implementation of Bucharest Summit decisions. There is one important point I would like to make regarding Georgia's Euro-Atlantic aspirations. Georgia has a clearly declared foreign policy objectives to join the NATO. At the Bucharest Summit in 2008, the members of the alliance also declared that Georgia will become a NATO member. This is the basis of our relations with the alliance. At the same time, for Georgia, the NATO is not an exclusively military organization. The integration process itself has a formative effect on Georgia's young democratic statehood. Progress in the process of Euro-Atlantic integration also means progress in strengthening Georgia's democratic state institutions and putting into practice the norms associated with the values which underpin the unity of the transatlantic community of nations. Georgia has demonstrated impressive achievements in meeting the value-based requirements of the European Union and NATO, because these requirements are rooted in the values that a big majority of my countrymen share with the transatlantic community. It is a common understanding among the overwhelming majority of politicians, statesmen, and ordinary Georgians that there is no better way for Georgia to consolidate democratic norms and institutions and to build prosperity for our people than to firmly engage in the European and Euro-Atlantic integration. This path of integration is also our main instrument to establish peace and stability in Georgia and in the region. Our sense of purpose and our determination is even stronger today as the barbed wires and fences built by the Russian troops cut across the very heart of Georgia, dividing the villages, farmlands, neighbors, and people who had lived side by side for so many years. As you know, our government has attempted to decrease tensions in the relations with the Russian Federation. Regardless the recent steps of the Russian Federation, we are still ready to engage in a constructive dialogue, which will respect our sovereignty and territorial integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said in the beginning, the year 2014 will also be a year of significant challenges for Georgia, as we will be approaching the date of signature of the association agreement. We are directing all our efforts to have the agreement signed by next September. At the same time, looking at recent developments in other countries of Eastern Partnership, we are increasingly aware of various challenges that we may face before the signature. The policy of our northern neighbor aimed at intimidation of the EU's eastern partners is revealing. It is no secret that the last-minute decision of the Ukrainian government to delay the signature of the association agreement was largely a regrettable consequence of the pressure they have been submitted to from Russia. Let me express my most sincere hope that the prospects of association will remain open for the Ukrainian friends and Ukraine will be given a chance to further pursue its European integration. While we are steadily preparing for the signature of the agreement, we have no illusions as to the possibility of provocative actions from Moscow. Nevertheless, our decision to sign the association agreement is unshakable. We will remain vigilant to prevent any escalation that could hinder the signature or the implementation of the agreement. We are ready to withstand any pressure and intimidation because what is at stake is not just another international agreement. The European integration is the cornerstone of Georgian strategy for building viable democracy, peace, and economic prosperity for all our citizens. We pledge to work closely with our partners in Brussels, as well as in each and every European capital, in order to make the Eastern Partnership a most successful European project. Sorry. At the same time, appropriate conclusions need to be drawn from the events unfolding in Ukraine. The European Union and its Eastern European partners, who will be signing association agreement next year, must design a common position to forestall possible coercive measures directed against the Eastern Partnership. The European Union should use its power of persuasion to avert any undue interference in its relation with the Eastern European neighbors. Along this difficult and challenging path, we count on the unhesitating support of our European partners, including your country. Romania is a nation whose transformation from the post-communist country into a full-fledged member of the European community of nations has always been an example for Georgia. Romania is a wonderful illustration of an old Orthodox Christian country who successfully exposed the ideals of a liberal, democratic society, preserving at the same time the valuable traditions engraved in your ancient and proud history. Romania, together with Bulgaria, two our inestimable friends and partners across the Black Sea, also constitute Georgia's gateway to the rest of Europe. I see this unwavering friendship as our destiny, which, resting on a solid ground of shared interests, will further shape our common future. And before I finish my intervention and hear your questions and comments, let me thank again the president of the foundation, Mr. Adrian Nastase, for this wonderful opportunity to address you today, and wish the foundation further success in the efforts benefit of the Romanian people. Thank you very much.